What's up, you guys? It's Jonno! Welcome to another episode of Grounded 2. Today I'm going to show you the best way to farm Bombardier parts in the early game. Obviously, these are very hard to come by when you just start the game because it's super difficult to fight a Bombardier Beetle. So I'm going to show you the best way to kill a Bombardier Beetle with no risk, and I'm going to show you where that Bombardier Beetle is located. There's two Bombardier spawns that are right near your spawn, near where you probably put your base, just like me. So let's go ahead and find those real quick. And then I'm also going to show you another way to get Bombardier Beetle parts without having to actually fight the Bombardier Beetle. There's a really good way, and you might not know about it. So our first landmark over here is the blue frisbee, and then right after the blue frisbee, you'll notice between those two roots there are two cockroaches. So that's your cockroach farming spot. I'll make another video on that. And then right past the cockroach farming spot is going to be your scorpion farming spot, and you can see them hiding under the ground there. If you're not familiar, they're the little purple and blue looking thing that's sticking up out of the ground. Kind of looks like an item at first, but don't go try to grab it because they will sting you. And then the third between the other roots is your Bombardier Beetle, and there is just one Bombardier Beetle here, so you're gonna have to take him out. And watch out with your mount. You can see that your mount will try to go headfirst into battle. You need to go ahead and tell your mount to stay off to the side. Take it far away from the battle so that it has no chance of getting hit by the poison. And then you want to tell it to stay. So once it has that stay command, it will just stay there. And then you can use your bow and arrow. It's only going to take about 20, maybe 15 arrows to get through this guy. He doesn't have a ton of health, but he can do a ton of damage. So you really want to stay away from it and kill it with the bow if possible. Up next, I've got one more Bombardier Beetle location, and between those two Bombardier Beetles, you should get about 4 Bombardier Beetle parts. Hopefully you don't just get one drop off of them, but they should drop 2 each time. The next Bombardier Beetle location is in front of the hot dog stand. There's this wooden porch thing. I'm not sure if it's a porch or exactly what it is, but right in front of there is another Bombardier Beetle spawn. This one spawned for me at night, so I was able to get the jump on it and get some damage in before it was able to get me. But even so, with a slight advantage, it was still a very difficult battle. I've got tier 2 equipment right now, and I just got tier 2 equipment, so I'm still relatively in the early game, but I'm not in the early game. And I think if you were in the early game, you would really want to avoid this fight. Definitely don't do it, or try to do it with the bow and arrow from up above like I did in the previous. But I wanted to show you this on camera just so you can see what this fight would be like and gauge whether or not you think you could do it. Between me and my buddy, we definitely had a difficult time with this battle, and if you're playing solo like me, then I don't recommend it. Just make sure you use the bow like I did in the previous scene, and make sure that they can't attack you because you're so high up. And then we'll move on to our next method, which is going to be on top of the picnic table. Now, to get up here, you're going to follow the champagne corks, and you can see that I'm basically loosely following them. They're not really the best way, but as long as you're seeing the corks along the way, then you are going the correct direction, and that will get you to the very top of the picnic table. There's a pretty decent fight when you get here. There's 2 of these Orb Weaver Juniors, but you should not encounter an Orb Weaver Senior, so you should be good there. And then once you get inside under the Billy Hog plate, then you will be able to find all of these web sacks. And the reason I like this location is because there is a high density of web sacks, and the way that this works is that the web sack has a very small chance to drop the Bombardier parts, and also a small chance to drop ladybug parts, and then it has a common chance to drop grub parts and mite parts and gnat parts. So because the spiderweb sack has a low chance to drop the Bombardier parts, you want to break a lot of them in order to get some Bombardier parts. Between this area and the area right below this, which I'm just about to show you, you should be able to get another 4 Bombardier parts. So I was able to get 4 off of the spider sacks and 4 off of the 2 kills, and by the end of this video I had 8, and this took me about 15 minutes to complete with all of the running. So to me, this is clearly the easiest way to get Bombardier parts and the fastest way to get Bombardier parts in Grounded 2, especially if you're in the early game. Maybe there's going to be a whole bunch of Bombardier Beetles somewhere later in the game, but in the early game, this is what you're going to look for. There's those 2 Bombardier spawns, and then tons of web sacks, as you can see up on top of the picnic table. There's way more than the ones that I showed in this video. You can look around, and basically anywhere that you find web sacks, I do recommend to break break them open and fight them. You do have a rare chance to get the Bombardier parts, but if you're always opening them, then you will be finding them little by little, and that's how I got all of my Bombardier parts. I only fought 1 or 2 beetles, aside from just for demonstration purposes in this video. Alright, you guys, that's going to be it from me for this video. I hope I shared with you all of the best ways to farm Bombardier beetle parts early on in the game in Grounded 2, and let me know if you have any good tips on how to get Bombardier parts as well down in the comments. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you to all of my amazing subscribers, and peace!